Hello dear students, today we will be starting up with our topic of structure of brain. In the previous section we have done neuron, structure of neuron, reflex action and reflex arc and how the nervous tissue is protected. Now today we will do the structure of brain. The diagram of brain is given in your NCERT book. Now as I have already told you, the brain is a very complex organ. It is very well protected in your cranium or the skull, and it have three meninges in which cerebrospinal fluid is there. Now if I talk about structure of brain, then there are major three parts of the brain. First is the forebrain, which further is divided into cerebrum, olfactory lobes and diencephalon. Then is the midbrain, and finally third is the hindbrain, which have further parts cerebellum, pons varolai and medulla oblongata. Now one by one we will discuss these parts of brain. Now cerebrum, this is the largest part of your brain and it covers the entire other parts inside it. Cerebrum is the center of intelligence and all the thinking process and understanding learning process is controlled by the cerebrum. This is your largest part. Okay. Then are the olfactory lobes. Olfactory lobes help in the sensation of sense of smell and they are located in the brain. From the nose region they arise and they reach up to the brain for the sensation of smell. Then we have the third part, that is the diencephalon. It have further function in the coordination of various actions. So we can say mainly all the forebrain mainly control the learning and thinking process. Then is the midbrain. The midbrain major part is connecting the forebrain and the hindbrain, and it also connects the interaction, or you can say it also help in the messaging between the fore and midbrain and the hindbrain. Then is the hind part of the brain, which comprise of cerebellum, pons varolai and medulla oblongata. Now this cerebellum is again the second largest part of the brain and it is located on the back side of your head. Cerebrum, if I talk about cerebrum here, it further have different lobes which are controlling the functions. Voluntary movement, pain and touch and temperature and all. Okay. Then here if I talk about cerebellum, this was the part which is below the cerebrum and it maintains the posture and equilibrium. Cerebellum is maintaining the posture and equilibrium in your body. Moreover, it is controlling your involuntary actions as well. Then we have medulla or pons varolai. Pons varolai is above the medulla and it transmits the nerve impulse from one part of the cerebellum to the other part. It is helping in transmitting the nerve impulse from one part to the other part. Okay. Then we have the medulla oblongata. It is the lowest part of the brain and finally it passes into the spinal cord. This is the last part of the brain and the functions of this medulla oblongata are: it controls the heartbeat, it controls the rate of respiration, it is the control center of swallowing, hiccuping, vomiting, urinating, sneezing and coughing. Okay, so these are the parts of your brain. Now our next topic of today is about the human endocrine system. So we will talk about the hormones, that is human endocrine system. This is also not new for you. You have already done it in your class 8 about the hormones you have learned. There are various hormones. Actually, what are hormones? These are the chemical messengers which are secreted from the glands, which are the specific parts in your body which release these hormones in very small amount. So altogether the glands will form the endocrine system in your body and they have a vital role. Now chemical messengers are produced by the gland. A simple example of adrenaline is given in your body. Adrenaline, this simple hormone, this is known as the emergency hormone. Okay. And in this, what is said that it works during the emergency condition, flight, fright and fight. For example, whenever we see a dog, we start running fast. So all the actions are being controlled by the adrenaline. The contraction of muscle and the more blood flow through the muscles is the effect of this adrenaline hormone. Okay, now if I talk about the diagram of endocrine system is given in our NCERT book also. So we will talk about the hormones one by one. So first gland, that is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is located in our brain. Hypothalamus is there in the cavity of diencephalon, the part which we have discussed of the brain, and hypothalamus gives the message to the master gland, which is the pituitary gland, to secrete or inhibit the secretion of any hormone. Hypothalamus, after this we have pituitary gland, which is known as the master gland. This is known as the master gland because directly it is controlling all the following glands in our body. That's why we call it as the master gland. For example, it releases growth hormone. It also help in the development of various parts. It have difference of melanin in the body. Then oxytocin, which help in the uterus contraction, is also released by this pituitary gland. So you can say mainly growth hormone is released by this. Okay. Then next, we also have a pineal gland in the brain. It is also present in the roof of brain, pineal gland. And the role of pineal gland is that it controls the secretion of melanin pigment, and it also help in the sleep cycle. So this have two roles. Pineal gland, which is present in brain, it secretes the melanin, which control the skin pigmentation. Like when you go in the sunlight, you are a bit darker. When you come back, the pigment is broken down and the skin regain its normal color. Then we come on to the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is present in the neck region and it controls basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate, BMR, and it releases the hormone thyroxine. And due to this deficiency, goiter may arise, which is swelling in the neck region. That's why we are advised to take the iodized salt. Then after that we have, these were the hypothalamus, then pituitary, pineal, thyroid. Then next gland we have is parathyroid, which are small glands near the parathyroids. Parathyroids are very small and they are present near the thyroid, and they help in the calcium absorption. They help in the absorption of calcium and phosphate ions. Okay. Then after that we have adrenal gland. Adrenal gland lies above the kidney, and the hormone which I have written in the starting, that was adrenaline, so that will be secreted by this. So the next hormone of R is the adrenal gland. So this was our parathyroid. And this is adrenal gland, which releases the emergency hormone adrenaline. Next to adrenaline, we have testes and ovaries. They also function as glands. Testes will release the hormone testosterone, which are responsible for secondary sexual characters in males, and ovaries will release the hormone estrogen, which are responsible for female secondary sexual characteristics. Now there is also pancreas near the stomach. One more gland is there, that is pancreas. pancreas, it is present below the stomach and it controls the sugar metabolism. It controls the sugar metabolism in our body. Okay, so these are about the glands. Now we have a very important topic associated with the gland, that is the feedback mechanism. I'm writing this topic with this only, otherwise this is given in the last of the chapter, that is feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanism control the timing and amount of hormone. It controls the timing and amount of hormone released. It controls the timing, that at what time which hormone is to be released, and amount, that how much is the hormone should be released. So this is known as the feedback mechanism. We can take a simple example to explain feedback mechanism. For example, I said hypothalamus control pituitary gland, which is the master gland in the body, and pituitary is controlling all the glands. For example, here I take simple example of pancreas, which is controlling sugar metabolism, and the hormone it secretes is insulin. Okay, now in the body, if the level of sugar is very high, then what will happen? Hypothalamus will say to pituitary to releasing factor, due to which the pituitary will divert pancreas to produce insulin and control the sugar rate. Now in the body, when the sugar rate is controlled or sugar level is controlled, then by the mechanism again the signal will go to hypothalamus that now the production of insulin has to be stopped, and this all is governed by the pituitary. So this is your feedback mechanism. So in this topic we have covered the part of brain and the endocrine system. Now we are left with the topic of coordination.